Okay, now we have nuclear fission and fusion, and let's get into this and discuss some things about it and some other fun stuff like that. Okay, so we have our periodic table here. We've reviewed this periodic table before, so we won't review that again before you start. So let's read the definition of nuclear fission, the reaction in which an atomic nucleus splits into two smaller nuclei, releasing large amounts of energy. Fusion is slightly different. A reaction in which atomic nuclei join together to form heavier nucleus, releasing amounts of energy or large amounts of energy. All right. Now we have nuclear fission. Let's review what this is. So you can see it's the splitting of an atomic nucleus into two smaller nuclei. So what do we have here? It's splitting it into two smaller nuclei, and it's breaking it apart kind of like that. Nuclear fusion, as we know, is slightly different because it's doing a little bit different of a reaction. Let's look at the simulation we have here. Okay. So let's see, it's going to split. Yep. There we go. Now it's split into two. Let's try this one. Oops. So it splits into two pieces there. So that's what's going on in nuclear fission. It's seeing how the chain reaction works, and it's just kind of breaking it apart just a little bit. Nuclear power, we have a lot of nuclear power nowadays. It releases a lot of energy and generates electricity, stuff like that. Okay, let's go to the next part. Okay. And then this just shows you a couple of examples. And then now we're talking about some more nuclear fission examples and just nuclear weapons. Nuclear fission can be used as weapons. Often you would see this as like the atomic bomb, World War II. So the atomic bomb that was dropped in Japan and Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end the war. This was what we used a nuclear fusion with the atomic bomb. So that's something like that. Okay. Now we'll you do the questions on your own as well. Nuclear fusion. Now let's talk about nuclear fusion. Joining of two smaller nuclei into one larger, heavier nucleus. So you're joining together, you're fusing something together. So that means like if things are combining, not splitting apart, not like the chain reaction of splitting something apart. It's fusing together. So it's a different concept, similar but different because it's fusing together, like connecting together. So this just gives you some more information about fusion and what it does. Well, if you watch this part on your own, weapons would be like a thermonuclear weapons. So it's just like a hydrogen bomb. So a little bit different than the atomic bomb, because it's made differently and they're used for different purposes. Some examples of nuclear fusion would be um, being the power source of stars forming heavier elements from light elements and using a thermonuclear weapon. So these are some examples of nuclear fusion. If you go down here, it says, here's the explanation, and I'll read this to you because this is a little bit helpful as well. Nuclear fusion is the source of a star's energy, and fusion is the process of two nuclei joining together. So fusion always involves heavier elements forming from lighter elements. So it becomes heavier because you're combining lighter elements together and then it gets heavier. So this is just talking about some careers and stuff in science. And then just give you a couple other ideas. Okay, summary. Hopefully that gives you just a little bit better of an understanding. We'll just kind of go through these real quick here. Chain reactions would occur when several neutrons are released, and that's what nuclear fission would require, like a chain reaction to happen. You're releasing something, and boom, 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 everything is kind of like splitting apart, falling apart, something like that. So that would create like a chain reaction. Nuclear fusion occurring when things are moving together and fusing together. And then reactors, we talked about generating electricity and other stuff like that. So hopefully that gives you just a little bit better understanding.